Once a pioneer for introducing electric vehicles to our Australian market, Mercedes-Benz is continuing its zero-emissions onslaught with models like the EQE SUV. You can probably tell from its name that it's simply a high-riding EQE, and its size is roughly equivalent to that of the GLE SUV. We're here at the model's launch in Mornington Peninsula, and I want to know one simple thing. Does this car move the game on for premium electric vehicles? Let's go for a drive and find out. Mercedes-Benz first stepped into the electric vehicle arena with the EQC SUV in 2019. But the EQE SUV is brimming with up-to-date technology and delivers more space inside the cabin for drivers, passengers, and all your luggage too. It's offered in Australia in 4 distinct model variants. The EQE300 is rear-wheel drive, while the remaining EQE350, EQE500, and AMG EQE53 SUVs are all-wheel driven. Prices aren't cheap. The range runs from $134,900 all the way up to $189,900 before on-road costs for the AMG Performance version. Lower specified grades within the range can be specified with the impressive M-Bux Hyperscreen, while other add-ons include air suspension and rear-wheel steering. Cars can travel up to 539 kilometres according to the lenient NEDC testing regime, and battery capacities are either 89 or 90.5 kilowatt hours depending on the car specification. Charging speeds are capped at 170 kilowatts for DC, while the ability to charge on a 3-phase AC port is also available. Handily, Mercedes-Benz includes both a domestic charge cable and a separate AC charge cable with each car. We're here with an EQE300, which sits at the entry level of the range walk. In terms of design, up front you'll see this closed-off grille which embeds 3-point star emblems, and above it you've got a unibeam light which joins together these digital light headlamps up the front. Further down the side, you've got a set of 21-inch wheels wrapped in Goodyear Eagle F1 tyres, and you're also joined by EQE badging, these side sills down here, and pop-out headlights to aid aerodynamics. Now, all cars in Australia come standard with AMG line styling both inside and out. Jump inside the EQE's cabin and the amount of space on offer is immediately apparent. I've got a really nice driving position here, and I'm cosseted by the seat very nicely. I've also got a good amount of adjustability between the steering wheel and the seats to get that nice driving position. And it's not only space as well, this car is very well appointed in terms of materials. I've got a very nice steering wheel covering here, wood grain inlays on the dash and on the dash top as well. It's all covered in very nice materials and it feels very premium inside this cabin. Storage-wise, the EQE is serviced by a lot of space. There's this dual door opening center console bin which paves way to 2 USB-C ports, and there's this sliding piano black trim which paves way to 2 cup holders, a wireless charger down there as well, and spots for loose odds and ends. You've also got a decent sized glove box and deep door bins. As standard, the EQE SUV comes with a 12-inch touchscreen handling the infotainment and a digital instrument cluster in front of the driver for critical driving information. Sound is provided by a Burmester premium 3D sound system which also includes Dolby Atmos spatial sound. It's an incredible all-encompassing audio experience which will make you want to blast your favourite tunes. Buyers can spend extra on the MBUX Hyperscreen which spans the entire dash fascia from A-pillar to A-pillar under a single pane of glass. However, that is not available on the EQE300 entry-level variant. As for the infotainment system itself, it's as user-friendly and feature-packed as we've come to expect from the Mercedes MBUX system without overwhelming driver or passenger. Maps are presented in beautiful colour schemes with crisp graphics, while sifting through menu systems is simple thanks to shortcuts and a logical content layout. In the backseat, the standard panoramic sunroof lets in a lot of light and it creates a lovely cabin ambience. There's ample room for head, legs and feet, while amenities extend to air vents, 2 USB-C ports and map pockets. In terms of boot space, 520 litres is down on some of its petrol-powered counterparts, and the model doesn't have handy remote releases for the second row, which is a little bit annoying. But on the plus side, the car does come with space underneath the boot floor for charging cables and odds and ends and the like, so that is a definite plus to have all those items hidden away. Well, here we are behind the wheel of the Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV, and there are 4 model variants on offer from Mercedes-Benz, but the one that we're behind the wheel of at the moment is the EQE300, the entry-level variant. And it's powered by a single motor which feeds the rear wheel. So this is a rear-wheel driven car, and it's got 180 kilowatts and 550 newton meters sent through the rear wheels. And you might ordinarily think that that's a lot of output to send through just 2 driven wheels, but the car does a really impressive job at putting down the power to the ground, especially on a day like today where it's a little bit hairy and rainy. But we're actually finding that this car is pretty decent at putting its power down to the ground, and when you're coming through corners and pressing on the accelerator as you come out the other side, the car really doesn't feel too phased whatsoever, so it's very impressive in that regard. Another thing to note with the Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV is there's actually not that much noise coming through to the cabin. Usually with an electric vehicle, you'll have a little bit more road noise, a little bit more tyre noise coming through to the cabin, but the cabin ambience inside this interior here is very well subdued, and it's really quite nice and quiet overall. Now, the roads that we drive at the moment are pretty tight and technical, and this car is feeling a little bit large in these surrounds, but overall it's handling its weight quite well despite being so heavy and having a big battery pack under the skin. You turn the wheel and the car sort of just feeds through, and it's very well maintaining its body composure going through corners. It's not really getting upset by mid-quarter bumps, that sort of thing. It's all round a very capable vehicle. And just again, that level of noise refinement is very impressive overall. Now here we are rolling up to 100 k's an hour, and you don't get that typical EV sort of melt your face off type acceleration, but the power on tap here is pretty decent, and it's more than enough for sharp overtakes and getting up to speed. This EQE SUV has 4 levels of brake regeneration. I can cycle through strong at the moment, which will heavily decelerate the car when you're rolling off the throttle. You can cycle up through normal recuperation, then up to no recuperation whatsoever. And then the car also has its own version of an automatic recuperation system where it will use a radar-guided cruise control system up front to determine how much deceleration you need in order to stop behind the car ahead of you. It's very impressive technology on the whole. In terms of efficiency, this car is doing 21.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And in terms of everyday driving, it might not be the representative drive of what everyone will do, but Mercedes-Benz claims just under 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So it is doing a little above what they say, but more testing is required, I reckon, to find out what exactly this car will do efficiency-wise. With ride quality, this car is very impressive on the whole. The only thing that might annoy some buyers looking for a prestige ride comfort is the initial sort of shock over little road joins and sharp edges. But overall, it's very well composed over bumps, over speed humps and that sort of thing. It is very well composed inside the cabin and very well refined overall. Steering wise, this car has a light and airy feel to it. There's not a lot of feel coming back from the steering wheel to the driver's hands, but it is a very easy system to maneuver and to put the car into car parks, maneuver about town on tight streets. It's a very easy system to use overall. This car being an EQE300, the rear-wheel drive one, it only comes with 4 separate driving modes, and that does include an individual driving mode where you can program your own settings. But all-wheel drive cars like the EQE350, they come with an additional off-road driving mode, and that'll come in handy when you're on unsealed roads and the like. That sort of just primes the traction control system as needed. Very handy to have. Power application, it sort of doesn't really shove you in the back, but it's a good shove of torque available from right down low, and it's instantaneous as well. So that is very handy when you're getting up to city speeds and joining the freeway and that sort of thing. Ergonomics wise, driving comfort is very high. I've got a nice amount of position for my legs, and that is a bit of a problem with the smaller cars in the Mercedes-Benz range, like the C-Class. Got a good amount of space for my legs, and there's great adjustability of the steering wheel and the mirrors, and also my seat to get that perfect driving position, and it affords a really good view out of the road overhead and behind you, cars beside you. It's very well judged overall, and I've got a nice cabin ambience with this integrated panoramic sunroof. On the roads that we're driving at the moment, there aren't too many tight and twisty corners to get this car unstuck, and it certainly fares better than you'd expect from a car of its size. In summary, the Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV driving experience is kind of exactly what you expect from a Mercedes-Benz. It's nice, it's serene, it's quiet, it's super comfortable. It mightn't feel like the sportiest thing when you're threading it through a set of corners overall, but at the end of the day, this car will spend a lot of its time just doing the Monday to Friday commute, and for that, it does a perfect job.
There's no doubt that the Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV is an expensive prospect, but it's backed up by a hugely impressive level of equipment, a nice cabin comfort, and a really well-resolved driving experience. This car really does set a high benchmark for other incoming luxury SUVs like the Volvo EX90. Now, if you've learned something interesting about the Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV or you've liked the video, be sure to like it on YouTube and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our future content. As well, you can read the full review on Drive.com.au.